Oh, guys, good, you're here. I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why, did you finally listen to it?
Before we start this podcast, let me invite you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or any podcaster. I'm such a cute. All right, everybody, quiet on the set. The Groomer Next Door take one to the audience in 3, 2, 1. Action! And he is your host, my mommy and daddy, Chris and Stella Green.
Hello, Pups and Kittens, and welcome to episode 110 of the Groomer Next Door. I'm your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me, as always, is the lovely, playful, and wants to move the microphone, Sarah.
Hello.
And, of course, our wonderful producer and littlest friend, Claire.
Hey.
A little louder there, Tonto.
Hey.
Well, as you guys all can notice, we have a brand new intro. We wanted to actually do the intro last week. It's just we couldn't come up with anything. So, we wanted to shorten our intro, kind of give it a little less, startup, and just kind of go right into it. So that was really cool. All right. Well, this week was actually normal. Wow. Right? So not a great deal went on. It was pretty cut and dried. But as always, we will go into our weekly roundup. We have G&D news as we do. We have a recall police this week. We have guess the breed. And we have our main story, which is... Oh, I'm sorry. I missed something. You could have called me out. We have a moment with Claire.
Oh, yes, we do.
A very, very important moment with Claire. So that was really cool. And of course, our main topic this week, and it actually hits home for us, was what could be allergy triggers. Because, hey, just because we can spot things doesn't mean that they don't happen to us too.
Yes.
So, well, let's just go right into it and dive into
The weekly roundup.
the weekly roundup.
The weekly roundup. Yeehaw.
Alright, this week on our weekly roundup, very simple week, very little to actually discuss because it was cut and dry. I would say the best, we had some really great moments of the week, and that was really what it all came down to, was great moments. I was lucky enough to see one of my German Shepherds come in, and that's always fun.
Puppy. She was only like 9-10 months old.
Yep. I love...
6 months.
I don't know.
She might be 6 months old.
I don't know, but I always enjoy when Judy comes in. It's always fun. This dog, one thing that made me laugh with this dog is the first time it came in, it was, on best behavior. It wouldn't do anything, kind of stood still. This time it knew me enough to not be so still. It was like, I'm going to...
Well, yeah, when the dogs first come in, they don't know what we're going to do. So they are going to protect themselves. They're going to make sure that they are complying.
Yeah.
So they don't get hurt. And then they're like, hey, you're not going to hurt me, so I'm going to push my boundaries, and I'm going to find out what's too far.
Well, what's funny with this one is it just kept putting its paw on my arm. Very loving. Licked me. I mean, there was no bad behavior by any means, but it was I'm just going to kind of, go and do my thing.
Well, dogs are going to do one of two things. They're either going to fight or flight. And
I didn't have any of that.
yeah, that she left. She wanted to leave. She didn't want to deal with the nail trim.
She didn't want to leave. That's the thing.
Well, she didn't want to do the
She
nails.
didn't want to stay in the spot that I needed her to stay. She would turn. If she was facing, one direction, she would want to go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. She wasn't trying to get away or anything.
Well, my back was to you, so.
Yeah. No, she wasn't that. With her, it's trying to figure out what's her comfort zone to do nail trims. But as for the bath and dry, if I wanted to face to the left, she'd want to face to the right. And when she was facing to the right, she'd want to face to the left.
Yeah.
That was that.
Confused puppy.
Yeah.
And then with me, I had a bunch of my regulars come in, and it's so nice when they come in. It's such a break from dealing with training. They already trained. They know which way to face. They know when to give me their paw. They know.
I remember that you were talking about that during the week. You're like, it's so
Well, it's
weird.
like Remy the Schnauzer. He was never my customer beforehand. I inherited Remy when we moved to Shadowwood, and Remy he was just really cool. Well, then once him and I started working together more and more, it's just something he's very happy to come in, and his parents are like, I don't get it. He's excited to come in, beforehand, not so much, but now he loves to come in. And I said, that's the difference between groomers.
Yeah.
I want the dogs to love to come in here. I want the dogs to break down the door. So I'm not going to push them through anything through grooming that they're not going to like, because I still want them to come in to see me.
Right.
Versus dragging them behind and demanding him to where the dogs hate it.
And it's funny because I heard this a couple times this week. Because I'm not usually in the front when people come in, hardly ever when they come in. But it was funny because I heard it, like I said, a couple times. So I go, my dog, every time my dogs come in here, it's jumping in the back seat. I open up the door, it's breaking down the front door to get here. Mm-hmm. But man, when we go to the vet, it just hides in the back seat of the car. Complete night and day. I can't remember who. I remember it was at least twice this week.
Yeah, I know.
I remember Winnie was actually playing with one of the dogs. I can see the dog in a sense, but I can't remember.
Winnie scared the bejesus out of someone. So she's signing in her golden doodle.
Was it a doodle?
Yeah, it was. It might have been a labradoodle, but it was a doodle. It was a small puppy doodle. It was the one that Key tried to make me do when I was already booked and I didn't want to come in on a weekend. It was that poodle.
I didn't even know that.
It was that one.
Okay.
Well, she came in and she's all happy and stuff, and Laura lets the dog to go outside to go potty, and the lady's checking him in, filling out the paperwork. Winnie comes and jumps and headbutts the lady. All in one motion, scares her half to death. Nobody's expecting a cat to jump out of nowhere, and it's not like she was scared of the cat. It was just like all of a sudden there was
the reaction, yeah.
And because when he's getting bigger, he's not a teeny tiny kitten anymore, and so when he jumped up on the counter, it was boom boom. It scared her. It was super cute though.
Yeah, I love Winnie. I mean, his love of everybody is just so.
Everybody's check-in time has exceeded over their normal time that it takes to check in a dog.
Yeah, it's not a drop and go anymore. It's I love the cat. Let me enjoy. Yeah.
It's got. Oh look, he's got a mustache. Oh how cute. Oh he's so lovable. We even have the most gruffest guys stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To pet this cat.
Oh yeah. It's so funny. Well, I don't usually like cats.
We really need to get this cat microchipped so that someone doesn't go walking off with them.
It's almost like the Dos Equis commercial, but for cats. I don't typically like cats, but when I do, it's this cat.
A domestic short hair.
And another cool part this week is Tara came in. Tara Peters.
Yes.
And now, obviously, you guys, if you're in the area, her and her husband, they have the coolest pumpkin patch around. And with that said, Sarah and I, we've lived in a lot of different places that have really cool pumpkin patches. There has never been a pumpkin patch like this.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's fun. I mean, as an adult, I go there to have fun.
Okay, when I used to take my little cousins to the pumpkin patch, we would go there. We're there for like 30 minutes and we leave.
Yeah, you pick a pumpkin, you go.
Yeah, and then when Claire was itty bitty, we did the same thing. We went to a pumpkin patch, picked out a pumpkin, took some pictures, let her pet a goat, and go home.
If they even had one. It wasn't common to see farm animals in a Southern California pumpkin patch. Not for me. And maybe you did. I didn't see a lot of that.
I did because we still had Northern California where there are farmers.
Yeah, but not in Southern. Not in Southern California.
But they came down.
Sometimes.
They come down when the money's good.
I
They load up the pumpkins from their patch and they bring
Yeah.
them down and put up a fake patch, and then you just go from there.
Yeah.
But
but this is a real pumpkin patch.
with Pete's pumpkin patch, it's huge. I mean, you get this tractor ride all the way out into their actual field.
Yeah.
Where you going to pick them out?
And this year with that rock wall, which Claire and I, if you guys
gosh,
have any curiosity what we're talking about on the YouTube
That was
channel,
painful to watch.
it was awesome.
It was painful.
It was awesome. If you actually watch the YouTube video, it's Claire's trip to the pumpkin patch, or Claire's trip to Pete's pumpkin patch 2016. I forget. There's a 15 and a 16.
No, there's not 16.
No, that's right. We're in 16. 14 and 15. I don't even know what year we're in anymore. But yeah, it was so much fun. I always film our little experiences. What?
2015. She's correct.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, producer lady. Yeah, no, and what was cool is that she came in this week, and then she, likes our actual Facebook page for the Groomer Next Door, which was cool. And that I'm not plugging you because you liked our page. I always like when she comes in. She's so bubbly.
Her dogs are so chillax.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Her dogs are like, yeah, what's up?
This is my time to relax.
And then her dog Sven looks just like Jinx,
which is funny because
I kept calling him Jinx.
Yeah, you kept, and it's like, I looked at the dog, I'm going, wait a second, I know this dog. I remember this dog as a really little puppy. I remember seeing him at Strut Your Mud a couple years ago. I don't think he was there this year. So it was weird, but yeah, I mean, this week was
time
I know.
is irrelevant to me, so I never keep track.
In a sense, it's like, I doubt I'll ever listen to any of these podcasts. This is all really archived for Claire and all of you who listen, but she'll listen to these things years in the future. But it's funny because you can go back in time. I mean, I can't remember really last week, but I can. It's kind of here. Yeah. It's in this, so that's cool. So that really does kind of summarize our week.
Long but short. Short but long.
Yeah, that's true.
And not so many words, but a lot of words.
So, up that, I guess we got recall police this week. Alright, well this is an actual recall that just came in. It came in on the 15th of January. Well, by recording standards, that's just yesterday. For all of you, it's pretty much 2 days, 3 days ago, but it is brand new. It is Vital Essentials. They actually have a recall. Carnivore Meat Company of Green Bay, Wisconsin has announced it's voluntary recalling a single lot of Vital Essential frozen chicken patties, entrees for the dogs due to possible contamination of salmonella. Seems to be the common denominator here.
Well, when you're working with any kind of meat product or any kind of fresh product in general, it all can happen.
Oh yeah. What's being recalled? The single lot involved in a voluntary recall is Vital Essential frozen chicken patties entrees for dogs. Net weight is 6 pounds. The UPC is 33211000807. The best by date is 11/8/16. Let's see. I'm just kind of going by all this stuff. What was distributed? The affected product was distributed in the following states, which I always like when they actually do this because it helps out: California, Florida, Georgia, Rhode Island, Texas, and Washington. That should be pretty much that pretty much sums
That's
that up.
not a very common dog food, so
well,
hopefully it's not in too many homes right now.
Right, and if you actually are listening and you are in any of the states and you actually did purchase this product, obviously immediately stop giving it to your dogs. And
what you do is that you take it back to your the place you bought it. Typically what they do then is that they'll take the food from you and probably have it destroyed, and then they either give you a refund and let you go pick out another dog food or exchange or something like that.
Yeah, you don't have to contact the company.
Don't be surprised if some stores will make you contact the company. If you buy, well, it's like at Shadow, what Keith does with his food is that if something's wrong, he'll take it back.
Yeah.
And then his distributor credits him.
Right.
So the distributor in the long run gets the brunt of it. But that's the best best way to start, you go to the place you bought it, they'll destroy it, and then they'll either give you a refund or exchange for another food. And that, I don't think it matters how much food you've gone through. Like, say if you bought it, you know, a week ago and it's halfway gone, and the recall just came out on that particular lot, I believe they'll still give you a full refund.
I'm sure they will. I mean, a recall is a recall one way or the other. So, yeah. Well, that concludes Recall Police, I guess, by the sound of the police car leaving. And now on to G&D News. Alright, this week on G&D News we have two stories that really sum it up in so many ways. One is great law that I've actually been hearing this actually been going on for almost a year now. I think it was more or less, yeah, about a year. I think I first heard more of it in Philadelphia, that they really cracked down, and now it's really because of all the laws changing for pets out there. I'm noticing that this is becoming a hard cap, and I'm loving it. And the other one is tech news that actually will really help you with your pet. So, which one would you like to dive into?
Probably the first one you talked about.
Well, I just didn't know which one you wanted to talk about first.
The first one you talked about.
All right. Well, this is coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. Claire, play that clip.
Weather not only affects us all, but our pets as well. Now there are new rules about keeping your pets inside in this bitter cold. CBS 4's Carson Quinn has that story.
Indianapolis Animal Care and Control Officer Alex Schaefer says the number of calls for pets left out in the cold today has been intense.
I think a lot of people that we see out here do have the best interest for their animals. They do obviously care for their animals, but they may just not know how much the cold weather can affect them.
On a patrol ride this afternoon, Officer Schaefer showed us where one animal was left outside by its owner and then quickly brought inside after talking to animal control. The visit is a good reminder about the new ordinance implemented late last year. No pets should be left outside when temperatures dip below 20 degrees.
I think that is a very wise ordinance because I think it will take down the number of frozen dogs over the winter.
Another new rule, dog houses need to have moisture-wicking bedding when it hits 40 degrees.
The frostbite is a huge thing, and it can come on super fast. It's just like children. If you're not going to send your children out without gloves and a hat, then keep an eye on your dog.
Animal Care and Control believes most people care about their dog. However, there are far too many cases where some owners may indeed be harming their pet.
If we continue to see violations, or if we feel that up front the violation is severe enough, then we'll take the route of issuing citations or possibly impounding the animal.
Carson Quinn, CBS 4 News.
As I said, I've been actually hearing about this. It hasn't been, they've been talking about this in a lot of cities that freeze over. I mean, we live in a city that freezes over, but I don't know if it's as dominant here as bigger cities. I don't even know if St. Louis does it as much. Like I said at the beginning of this part, I know I saw Philadelphia, they cracked down heavily on this.
Well, it really should be. I've never understood why it was okay to leave your dog outside with very minimal shelter.
Right.
And as much as I love my freedoms to own guns, my freedom to do what I want, but when it comes to lives, it depends on what you're doing to those lives, whether or not you should do it. And I'm sorry, a dog's alive. Dog has feelings. You hurt it, it bleeds. It's the same.
You mistreat it, it hurts.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally, however.
So you won't, like I said, you won't send your kid outside without shoes and gloves and a hat. So why are you making your dog sit out there on the freezing ground?
Because it's got fur?
There's so many stories about dogs being frozen to the concrete.
Yep.
And they have to scrape the dog up to get it off the concrete. Because they're not going to wait till it thaws out enough to where they can peel it off. I mean, it's gross. It's disgusting. It's just sickening.
It is. And I don't understand why it, until now, I mean, it's been happening and being allowed and overlooked. I mean, I know animal control have have always jockeyed to get more stricter laws. I just don't understand where the lawmakers haven't actually pressed this like they have now. I'm so grateful it's finally done.
They're more worried about other political issues. More social issues, about making sure abortions are okay for everybody, making sure that, you know, nobody can have any, you know, freedom of speech anymore, or, you know, you don't hurt somebody's feelings. They're more worried about that than the actual lives that are in hand.
Which drive me nuts. Don't hurt my feelings. Don't infringe on my freedoms, but I don't care if I infringe on yours. Which, oh my God, that's another story.
I mean, the one part that I disagree with this entire interview was the law is that they have to be brought in or have to have proper shelter.
Well, they have to be brought in
if it's under 20 degrees.
Right.
The freezing point's 32.
Yep.
So how can you tell me that the dog's core temperature can keep them warm above 20 degrees?
And I've been outside at night in the 20s, and it hurts.
Yes, and
just going from the house to the car, right? Just going from the house to the car, which isn't a far walk, but still, it's still good enough walk where you go, oh my God, that wind chill hurts.
Dogs do run higher in temperature, but it's not like, I mean, look at their paws. In between their paw pads is just straight skin.
Yep.
Hardly any hair most of the time. It's not going to keep them warm. The pads keep them from a level of protection, but it's like going outside, walking in 32 degree weather in socks. Yeah, it gives you protection, but once the socks get cold and wet, it goes in and seeps in further.
Yep.
So, it is very frustrating. Now, you don't have to necessarily take the dog inside their house, because there's people that have farm dogs, and all they do is out on the farm. And you know, some dogs don't like coming to the house. If you have a Great Pyrenees that has full-blown coat, a Great Pyrenees,
I get that reference.
Yeah, they're not going to care. They're going to stay out there. They like this cold. You have a you have a golden doodle with 10 inches of hair. They don't care. They're having fun. So I really, on one hand, it needs to be adjusted. But on the other hand,
it's a good start, though.
Yes. But if they have a shelter built, I know our Newfoundlands owner, they have a shelter built for their dogs. They have heated bowls so that the water never freezes. Well, they have straw or hay, something like that.
I think it's straw.
Is it straw?
I think so.
Because I think hay.
Hay. Yeah, I think it's straw.
And then
I'm still adapting to country life.
Right. And then it's fully enclosed. There's no drafts. So in the actual shelter, it stays relatively warm. And then when it starts getting hotter out, take off the siding. He takes off the siding, and they got the summer breeze coming through. So if you have a proper dog enclosure, you guys should check with your city ordinance, make sure you can build one. Because, yeah, everything has to be taxed through the nose, and you have to make sure you got it, proper inspections. Pay more money. Anywho.
Yeah. And, you know, what's funny is Sarah asked me before, you know, when I played the clips before we started recording, she goes, we don't have any real sad, nasty clips this week. And, you know, it's funny because on our Facebook page, that's where I'm putting those stories more. You know, because on a daily basis, there's so many stories that are just overlooked. Some of the stories, unfortunately, and this is just kind of the battle I'm facing, is a lot of the stories are poorly written. They're written so that one side looks terrible, even though it's actually not as bad as it should be, or even bad at all. Like, there was a story this week about a groomer who did a really elaborate color job on a dog that was art. And the location where this groomer actually grooms is really trendy. It's more of that kind of customer who's going to want that kind of look. I looked at her grooms, and they're exquisite. And I read the article, and it was painted in just the worst light. So, we put those stories on our Facebook page. One, it's always fun to, talk to you guys about this and see your comments and see your reactions. And then, of course, we can go back and forth and talk to you guys. That's always fun, too. With that said, so the next story is some tech news. Now, I'm a huge tech fan. I'm a techie, I guess you would say. I mean, obviously, with doing a podcast, you kind of can tell. But this app for your phone is just amazing. And I have it on our phone. So, Claire, play that clip.
An animal shelter is the last place you want to see your pet. But if he or she does get lost, thanks to a new app called Finding Rover, families have a new tool right on their smartphones to quickly find them.
Finding Rover is a facial recognition app.
Here's how it works. Once you download the app to your smartphone or tablet, you take a picture of your pet, and it's scanned into the system.
The public can use to register their dog, and if the dog ever runs away, they can post that their dog's been lost.
Using facial recognition technology, the app searches through thousands of images of old and recently added pictures to try and locate your pet.
She's more mastiff. A mastiff.
This is Jane. She's been in the shelter for over a week and is helping us with our demonstration.
It looks at 8 different points on the dog's face. If a dog comes in to us, we take the same kind of photograph, and if that dog's already been reported as lost, it makes that connection.
And another feature, the app will send alerts to be on the lookout for your dog to anyone in your neighborhood who also uses Finding Rover. And it also works in reverse.
If you just see a dog running loose down the street, you can take a picture of it, and it'll still post it that way as well.
In fact, in the last 10 days, these families have all been reunited with their pets here in San Diego via the Finding Rover app. So here's the best part. The app is absolutely free, and it takes just minutes. The guy that developed it did it because he wanted to make sure that all these dogs would be reunited with their families.
It's amazing to see anybody get reunited with their pet. It's a member of their family. And, we see people, break down in tears just because they've been missing this family member for a day.
If the Finding Rover app doesn't reunite a dog with its family, they stay here until they're adopted. The good news here in San Diego, we no longer euthanize. But this app literally takes 2 minutes to download, and it's just another tool for families to find their lost dogs. From Bonita, Misha DeBono, Fox 5 News.
So, as I said, this is a cool app for your phone. And again, I put it on our phone. It's just another precaution. I mean, how many times do dogs get out on a daily basis? Just say that the gate wasn't closed properly, or it was able to find its way out. Dogs do find their way out, and they're resilient.
One of my customers' dogs were loose last week.
Yes, just last week alone.
And someone sent me a link. Hey, this dog is freshly groomed. Is this one of your grooms? I looked. I'm like, that's my baby girl. You tell me where she's at. I'm coming to get her now.
And what's funny
I was going to get a hold of her owner and say, hey, can't bring you your dog back.
What's funny is that she had just been in the shop that previous week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this happened. So
that's one of the other reasons why at some point I have a picture, at least one picture of every dog we groom, because of that reason. That, okay, this is what they look like freshly groomed.
Yep, it does help. It's one of those things. I saw this app, and I heard this story, and I was like, ooh, that's cool. And I saw the app, and I was just like, this is great. And I right away downloaded it on my phone. I'm like, for one, I want to actually talk about this.
And we're going to be telling people about it as well.
Yeah, I've actually contacted the creators of it, asked them if they wanted to do an interview, but they're getting so many interviews. I mean, it blew up. Like, it blew up. So, again, it's something to consider. If for some reason you're like, what, I got a microchip in my dog, that's enough. Well, it is definitely good, and, proper tags are good.
But pictures are quicker.
Exactly.
You can do this when it's a holiday. You can do this when veterinarians are closed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what's nice is that it's kind of a social network as well, because the people who in your area have that app on their phone, that picture of that, it's facial recognition. It'll automatically link your app that you have on your phone to let you know, hey, the dog's been located. And it's so quick, so easy, so awesome. I thought immediately, I'm like, we got to talk about that. So, anything you want to add on that one?
No?
Cool.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Well, that concludes G&D News for this week.
And now, a moment with Claire.
All right, well, we are actually sitting down with Claire right now because there's a surprise for her, and we were told about it a few days ago. And, well, I think it's time for us to actually tell her what's going on. So I'm going to let Sarah go ahead.
Okay. You know how you went all second quarter without missing a day at school?
Nope.
You went every day of the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And did you know that's called perfect attendance? Yes?
Yep.
They can't see your head nodding, but they can hear you.
No hands. No hands. Stop hands.
Anywho, so your principal called me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep, Mr. Fridley, right?
Yeah.
He called me about you. She's not scared because she's a good kid.
I know. She's like, so my principal called and...
Yeah.
And he said since you had perfect attendance for the second quarter,
Yeah.
he put your name into a hat to be drawn, right?
To be drawn for what?
Well, a bunch of kids were put into a hat and your name was drawn to be
Dum.
taken to school by a fire truck.
Woohoo!
So what it looks like is next week, you will actually be picked up by the fire department. You will actually be taken to school with the fire truck, and apparently the newspaper will actually do a little article on you. Now explain to us how you feel, because it is a podcast.
They can't
so
exactly
they can't
see
you.
Oh my gosh, face.
No hands. No hands.
What they'll do is they'll pick you up early. You get to play with their lights.
So when I wake up and get dressed, they're gonna come to our house
Yes.
to pick me up to go to the school.
Yes.
Oh.
And then you get to play with lights. You get to talk to the real firemen. You get to ask them questions.
Woo.
Do you know what kind of questions you'll ask them?
So when I'm done with school, they're gonna take me home.
No,
I
unfortunately,
wish.
no. You're like, wait, a limo kind of service? This is you're using, the fire department as Uber.
So on next Monday,
Tuesday probably is what it's supposed to be.
next Tuesday, they're
This
gonna.
coming Tuesday.
So every day
No, just once.
Just that day.
just Tuesday, they're gonna pick me up and go to school.
Yes.
Yep, and they'll have the lights going when you pull up and all your friends will see you.
What time are they gonna come?
About 7.
40?
7:40. Okay.
Don't
I
worry,
have
we'll
to-
have you all ready.
So I have to get ready quick
Yes.
by 7:30.
Yeah, pretty much. You'll be ready way ahead
If
of
I
time.
can drag you out of bed.
I will use my alarm clock.
Yes, you will.
So how excited are you?
Cool. Good.
Do you know what? You don't even know what to say right now or how to react.
Well,
huh?
I never
Road.
rode a fire
Truck.
fire truck before.
And then real firemen next to you.
Wait.
That's most grown-up women's dream.
Wait.
Some grown-up
Is
men's
it
dream.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
So that's the surprise. That's why every day when you came home from school, I'm like, hey, did you have that assembly? Did anybody tell you anything? And nobody told you. They forgot to actually mention it at the assembly.
Yeah, they're supposed to tell you at the assembly at
last
school.
Friday.
At maybe when we were supposed to collect pennies.
No.
Yeah, that's assembly maybe.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then when they was done, they should have.
That's when it was supposed to be done.
Yeah, when you didn't got off at school, you didn't get sick.
Yeah.
You got at second quarter.
Yeah.
You stayed there and didn't even got sick. They forgot to say who's going.
That's why it's
That
important.
was the day, actually.
That's why it's important to always wash your hands and don't put your fingers in your mouth so you don't get sick.
Yeah.
Well,
I was sick on first quarter,
Yeah.
but maybe third quarter I get to go on.
I don't know. I don't think your name will go in the hat for that one.
But we'll make sure to do something special
hat?
for you. Yeah, in a hat.
Yeah.
So
We'll explain that part later.
Yeah,
So
we'll do
some
that when this is over. All right.
So some people are gonna sit in the fire truck too.
Nope,
No,
just
just
you
you.
and the fireman.
You're the only
Yeah.
little girl.
And we will actually have, this is a two-part. Next week, we'll have her reactions after it.
Yep.
And this was a moment with Claire.
All right, and now, by the sound of the cheers, by the sound of the roar of the crowd, it is time for Guess the Breed.
Guess the breed. With your host, Chris Green.
All right, we are joined once again on the Guess the Breed stage by the one, the only Sarah. Welcome back to Guess the Breed.
Keep up a losing streak, shall we?
Well, actually, I think your last time on was actually a win, wasn't it? I don't remember. It's been a while.
It's been a while since I won, yes, I know.
No, it's been a while since you've been on. Well, it's always fun to have you on. I mean, I had some choices of people to actually put on, but this week, you know what? I wanted to have you, the one, the only. So this,
And some people just flat out don't deserve it.
that is true.
Just saying.
So this week, we're going back, way back. We're going to actually bring back the famous people who own a dog. And that dog actually was famous by, I don't know what word I was trying to use for that. But because their owner was famous, this dog ended up famous as well. The actress is Audrey Hepburn. Now, for all of you young kids out there, she was a British actress, a humanitarian, and she was born May 4th, 1929, and she passed away January 20th of 1993. Well, she's done lots of movies, obviously. Breakfast at Tiffany's, Roman Holiday, Sabrina, My Fair Lady, Funny Place, and the list goes on and on. But she was well known to have a pup that was very famous, and she had a lot of photos with this dog. So, are you ready to play it? You ready?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know who Audrey Hepburn is.
You don't know who Audrey Hepburn is?
No, I don't.
Oh man. Well, what's cool about this is it's not a hard dog to actually pick. The dog's name was Mr. Famous. Okay?
That's ridiculous.
Well, I thought it was kind of cute. That was the name of the dog. Okay.
That's ridiculous. Someone should have told her. That's wrong.
You're,
Denied.
you're ridiculous. All right. So here's the attributes of this dog.
I would take Mr. Fluffy, Mr. Cuddlebug, Mr. Bigglesworth.
Anyways, this
What,
dog.
Mr. Fabulous? Famous?
Mr. Famous. Mr. Famous. Okay. This dog is hypoallergenic.
Can I call it MFer?
Okay. The lifespan of this dog is 13 to 16 years. The height is 6.5 inches. Temperament, bold, confident, courageous, intelligent, independent. Colors are blue and tan, black and gold, black and tan, blue and gold. This dog is a small dog breed developed in the 19th century, and I'm going to give you the origin of the dog, which will probably sell it for you, but the origin...
I already know where that is.
Okay, go with it.
Yorkie.
Swing!
It is a Yorkie. You did get that. Good job. I was...
When you named off the colors and their attributes, or their personalities, I'm like, yep, that's an ankle biter. It's a Yorkie.
I was going to actually give a little bit to it. I was like, oh, I didn't...
Well, what else were you going to say?
Well, if I would just not have actually just tossed that aside. The Yorkshire Terrier is a small dog breed of terrier type, developed in the 19th century in the country of Yorkshire, England, to catch rats in clothing mills and used for rat baiting. But I wasn't going to actually say all that because obviously I couldn't tell you the name of the breed.
And you know, funny thing is that Yorkies have been bred so much that there are multiple sizes actually. There's you know, like I said, the 6-inch ones, and that's from their feet to their shoulders. Mm-hmm. It's not including the tip of their ears, so it's something like that. They're mixed with everything under the sun, and it's actually hard to find a true Yorkie.
And they can be very challenging. I'm gonna go with
Some
that.
can. Yeah.
I definitely
See,
had mine.
we just had Samson and Delilah in.
Yes.
And they're true Yorkies. They're cute little things.
They are really good.
Yeah.
They are really good. Well, thank you for playing Guess the Breed.
You're welcome.
Now on to our main topic of the week, detecting allergies in your dog. Now, this is coming from us because we go through it as well. I mean, we're no different than the rest of you. We have a dog with a lot of special needs when it comes to allergies.
We've been struggling with this allergy problem for years now. When we first got her, we thought it was because she was flea infested and malnourished. Well, yes, it was because of the flea infestation that we found out she's allergic to fleas. And then she chews herself all the time.
That can be rough.
It's very rough, and it's obnoxious because you get frustrated with. I got frustrated with myself. What am I doing to make my dog chew herself raw?
Right.
She chewed off all the hair on her tail.
Yep.
And of course, this was right around the holiday season when I couldn't get a hold of anybody, couldn't get her seen.
Well, this is over a year ago. This is not this past.
No, this was past. When
Not
she
the tail.
when she chewed off her tail, it was just a couple months ago.
Are you sure about
Yeah, when
that?
she chewed off all the hair on her tail. Yeah.
I thought that. Okay.
No,
go on.
then what we had to do.
I lose track of time
Yeah.
all the time.
You went ahead and you went and washed her, and we made sure she was up to date on her flea pill because she can't have the flea treatment.
Right.
Some people might not know this. If your dog reacts funny, or if they start spinning around in circles, or they start trying to rub off the flea medicine that they put on their back of their neck, the topical treatment, typically means they're allergic to it and it's burning them. Katana has a chemical burn because we use Advantix on her. And that kills me. That hurts. I think about it and it just my heart drops into my stomach.
The hard part about this is it's hard to gauge it. It's hard. I mean, sometimes you have to have that error happen to know, and going to the vet and everything else, learning from them the same things. You really can't really determine these things without.
Know.
Yeah, you can't because there's so many ways that something bad could happen.
Yeah, it took one treatment, one Advantix. It worked, but it burned her every spot. She has missing hair now, permanent missing hair, in the spots I put down her back. So we opted for the Comfortis and just did the pill, and she's reacting to that marvelously.
That was the second time she had an allergy, and that was determined years ago though, about the Comfortis. The first allergy she had was food.
Remember? Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, sorry, because we had to do a take.
This is why I actually. Well, that's why I stay on this.
Sorry. Good. I'm glad you do. Her first allergy didn't really pop up for, I want to say, a first year having her. Dogs can develop allergies. What
was she? A couple years old when we got her?
Yeah, she was 2.
2. Okay, thank you. I couldn't exactly gauge that.
She's 1 year younger than Claire.
Okay.
So she was like 2 years old, and we didn't understand why she wasn't gaining weight. I was like, well, she's kind of petite for Akita. She's small. When we got her, she was only 60 pounds.
Right, but I mean, you can figure that from the home that she was in. It was
bad
the environment.
Fleas, the everything. I mean, she was malnourished, and you can feel the bones and such. Well, she ate fine. We fed her the top of the line grocery brand store food that we could find, because I didn't work at Shadowwood then, and the best food that grocery stores had was Iams. Well, we started working over at Shadowwood, and we switched her food to Diamond Naturals beef and rice. We tried Premium Edge for a while, but she was throwing up. She had like yellow bile coming up.
Right, and that was quite weird, and it was frequent. Yeah.
Oh, it happened a lot. Katana's gotta go outside. She's throwing up again.
Yeah, she would have like a dry heave.
Yeah.
And you knew right away. Oh gosh, she's gotta go outside.
Yeah, she'll whimper when she knows that she needs to go out, and then we head to the front door and we let her out. Luckily, we don't have to hook her up to a leash. She
Yeah.
just stays on property.
I love our dogs. All off-leash trained. It's so nice.
Well, so then we switched her to the Diamond Naturals beef and rice, and the rice helped coat her stomach. It helped keep her acid under control. But then she started chewing herself again.
Now that one, what's weird about this is that it didn't happen right away.
Well,
That
I mean,
didn't
she would
happen-
scratch, she would chew,
But not
she would
as bad.
scratch.
It didn't-
Not as bad, but
Right.
she did do it. But it wasn't enough to leave any kind of marks.
Right. It wasn't until, I would say, within the last year. That's when her allergies again took another, little bit of a mutation, changed a little bit, which does happen. So that's when the chewing and the scratching became more frequent.
Yes, more frequent, more quiet. Blah 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 blah
Right.
blah blah.
It was
More frequent, and more often do we have to keep telling her,
yes.
quit chewing, quit it.
And
Stop
at the
it.
beginning, it was like, is this a nervous habit that she had picked up?
Or is it that she has too many oils on her skin? She
Right.
has to be washed more frequently than
And
3
that
months.
was actually one of the things that we did, is we actually did give her a bath. And it did kind of calm it down.
Well, yes, because when we gave her bath, instead of every 3 months, we gave it every 2 months. We used a medicated shampoo
Yes.
and Tropiclean's itch relief treatment.
And it worked.
It worked, and it kept her fine for about a week after her bath.
Yeah.
Well, then she would, do chewing here, she'd scratch there, she chewed here. It wasn't that bad.
Right.
And then when it got closer to washing time, it got worse. So
See,
that's when we knew it was time to wash her.
I noticed that it was summer last year. That's when it really ended up becoming a
Yes.
real issue. That's
It
when we
was starting
realized,
to get-
okay, we got to step up the game a little bit more.
Yeah, we had to be on our toes a
Yeah.
lot more.
Because then, now it's become constant chewing, constant.
So then we changed the treats.
Yep.
We changed it to the Fresh Pet treats.
Which
And
I love that stuff. I mean,
she loves it.
But I love it because you look at the ingredients in it. I mean, it's really good stuff.
Yeah, and then they'd eat the carrots, and they're just like if they were to eat the chicken or the,
Yep.
the actual stuff. So afterwards, thank you. Afterwards, she got better. Well, especially when we stopped the treats completely.
So what is
Yeah.
that? I'm sorry.
Ooh, that looks like a smoothie. It looks like a
They bring
big
you a smoothie over there? Is that what that is?
You want your straw so you can drink it?
See, what's great is when we're performing here, just random people just from the actual
Restaurant
come over and bring her something. That was cool.
This isn't the first time
Is it alcohol? Is there alcohol in there? No.
Should there be alcohol in there? No.
She's like, I don't know.
Is it good?
But yeah, it became a real thing where it's like, oh gosh. Well, last summer we took her in, and we actually learned a lot by that office visit about just the skin allergies and what to look out for. She had to have what would be considered a cortisone shot.
Yeah, allergy shot.
Yep. Actually, it's 2 shots. I forgot what the second one was, but there
She
was
gave you a second one?
there was 2 shots.
Well, the first visit that we went in, when we got to the point where it was just absolutely out of our hands.
Yeah,
It's kind of rare for us because we're
on top. Yeah, we're always on top of it.
and then we're in this line of business that we see this all the time.
But there's that line though. You're talking about
I'm not a
medicating,
vet.
but you
I'm not a
have to
vet.
medicate, and we're not going to administer medication even in our own dogs. So it's like, and I swear it was the same thing because it was the same treatment this
Because-
time as last time.
Yeah, no, it's a different treatment because the first time she went in,
Same price.
she
Bless you.
She went in for her rabies shots too.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
she had a rabies shot and a cortisone shot. So now they gave you 2 shots to her. Dr. Winfrey gave her 2 shots then.
Yeah, it was 2 shots, and then of course
Yeah,
she
'cause
has.
last time it was like 90 something. This was only 70.
No, I swear it was really. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, now we've come to find
Rabies
out.
shots are only like $12.
Well, now we've come to find out that and I was doing some research. You were doing some research on it because we were trying to gauge what's going on here.
We're stumped. She's on good food. She's on good food. She gets her proper baths, and
Yep.
she gets the baths done properly.
And see, that's one of the things I was talking to the vet. I says, okay, I had just given her a bath a week ago. If it would have been some shampoo that had been left over, now it was a hypoallergenic shampoo, But still, if it would have been left on there, and
Which
this
is extremely rare since we've rinsed our dogs.
but
and
here's
rinsed
the
our
thing, though.
dogs.
If it does happen, and this is something that you can take for yourself, if your dog does come home itching and it's one spot that's just going raw, that's typically because shampoo wasn't rinsed. The thing is, this wasn't an isolated area. It was everywhere. So now you had your theories. I had mine.
Well, I thought she had an allergic reaction to the hypoallergenic shampoo.
Right.
Because we switched shampoos at the salon, and she hasn't been washed with this hypo before. So I thought it was the shampoo causing the problem.
Good call. I mean, it was definitely a good call.
And if you look at it, at the skin, and she's itching everywhere. I mean, within a week, she was just tore up. And
Right.
we tried to get her in sooner, but I would say, this is
Well,
unfortunate, and I felt extremely bad. I kept, doing everything I can to compensate for not taking her into the vet right away. Because we had to wait for a bunch of things to happen for us to do it.
Right.
And
then, of course, to get an appointment when we can actually get in, that's always hard, too.
that's the biggest thing. Got to get Claire picked up from school. We got to get our dogs done at work. We got to make sure, because we have to make an
A
income.
lot of moving obstacles that go into this, variables that really do cause issues.
Luckily, the one day we had just a little bit of time that you could do.
I swore they were going to tell you that. I'm sorry, because you came to me and said, hey, can you get everything done by, I think you said 3:30. I'm like, there's no way.
Can you get Claire picked up at school from 3:15?
And get the dog?
Go get the dog and be over at Doc Brown's by...
I was like, no. But now that was your theory. It was possibly the shampoo. It had a negative reaction. Now,
And then I thought after just scratching a little bit, it spread and became a yeast infection on the skin because the skin started turning real rough and baldness everywhere. I am amazed that this happened within 1 week.
yeah, it was so quick.
When someone tells me they chewed themselves up in 1 week, I am not gonna say boo about it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though.
It's like, how'd your dog go completely naked in hair
Yeah,
in 1 week? Oh my gosh, it happens.
It does happen. And again, if it can happen to us, it can happen to anybody.
Anyone.
So my theory, and of course, it's reading different things and picking up, and it was the allergy was caused, and again, the vet said this, any one of these, yours, mine, anything could have had this effect, but my theory was the bath itself can cause the allergy to flare up.
Yeah, whatever was protecting the skin.
Yep, whatever was on
taken
there
off.
was taken off, and therefore the allergy was going to kick up.
It was just like with people who wash their dogs too often. You're constantly stripping the oils out. You're stripping their protection.
So
And
there's
that's what it was, is that we stripped off her protection.
we stripped the protection, and
Because
who would have who would have guessed that one?
But when it was time for her to be bathed, she was greasy. I mean,
Oh,
she
no, she
plays
needed
with
it.
the cat. She
She
rolls
had to
around in
have
the
it.
mud.
She had
I
licked,
mean,
she licks, of course, like every other dog, and Roxy goes over and plays with her and probably licks her.
The cats go and play, so the dog gets dirty, and if she gets dirty, I'm like, she stinks.
Yeah, no, she had to have her bath, but the weird part is that film that had been on her had been the actual protection, which is weird. But then, it's like we had given her this other food that was different type of food. In the grain, instead of being rice, it was barley. Instead of beef, it was salmon. Mm-hmm. Now, could that have been the component? Yes, it could have been.
Well, because there was a one part in time where we were completely out of dog food.
We didn't
The
find out until
shop-
after we got home.
Yeah, the shop was closed.
Yep.
And we had to run down to Walmart and grab a bag of New Balance.
Yeah.
Grain-free. And, or it wasn't the grain-free, like I said, it was the one with barley.
Yeah. But that's the new grain that's actually acceptable, and it's better.
Rice is supposed to be accepted amongst most breeds because the fact that it does coat the stomach and it holds the food together.
It works though.
And
it does work.
it's not like pumping your dog full of wheat.
Right.
So, some dogs that have absolute wheat allergies completely, or grain allergies completely, can't be on rice.
Right. So barley, and I haven't done a great deal of research on the barley, but apparently the barley is actually the the new acceptable, the
barley's
premium.
always been really good. It's just now coming to light, like, hey, you know, this is a real top contender. It can help. And then flaxseed oil. Also, too, the reason why you don't see very many beef foods out there for dogs is that it is actually a protein that dogs can get real allergic to. And that's what, when you took her in to see Dr. Winfrey, and she said it could be a food allergy, even though you're feeding good food.
She says anything could have triggered it. There is really no way of
unless you go
isolating
through
it.
that expensive test to narrow it down.
But see, that's the difference here, is if you can stay on top of these things and learn from them and work with them, you're fine. It can be challenging though. That's the hard part.
It could be just simple seasonal allergies.
Yes.
It could be an allergy all year round. It could be an allergy for changing your laundry detergent. And we did that too.
It could be springtime. It could be anything.
You can be dusting.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, allergies are just so massive. I mean, look, I can't survive without allergy medicine. If I go without my Claritin decongestant, my chest, my lungs fill up with liquid, I lose hearing, my ears start becoming clogged, I sneeze uncontrollably, and my face I just want to scratch off because it itches so much. And my allergy is dog dander.
And you know, it's funny.
I'm a groomer.
Right. Well, I have dander. That's one of mine.
You have dander, or you have an allergy to dander?
There you go. I have an allergy to dander. Well, I probably have dander with all the dogs that are on me all the time. Now, I want to actually go over some things as well, because along with what's going on in our existence and what we go through, and sharing our information and our experiences, I also want to actually really get into the actual situation with symptoms and different things. But what are the general symptoms of allergies in dogs? Now, I have a list of those. Itchy, red moist, or scab skin, increased scratching, itchy runny eyes, itchy back or base of tail, most commonly flea allergy, itchy ears and ear infections, sneezing, vomiting, diarrhea, snoring caused by inflamed throat, paw chewing, swollen paws, and constant licking. Now, Katana had a lot of those.
She had every single one of them except for
vomiting, diarrhea. The snoring she had. I don't know about the swollen paws. She did have chewing of the paws.
She's chewing of the paws. If she chews the paws.
I don't remember the itchy runny eyes. That's the only thing I didn't remember.
You ever see her come up to me and just slam her head down on my knee?
No.
Yeah, she'll come up and she'll just slam her head down, or she'll slam her head up against the.
I think slam's a little bit harsh. I think it's a little less.
It hurts me when she does it.
Well, she's got a heavy head and a very strong head.
She just slams her head into my knee, and then she just rubs her face on my knee, or she'll rub it on the couch. And so yes, itchy eyes. That's how you can determine whether a dog's eye is itchy, or if you actually see them take their paw over their face trying to scratch.
Wow.
Katana doesn't do that part. What Katana does do is that she rubs her face up against furniture, people.
She does that. She does. Yeah. Which dogs are at risk for getting allergies?
Every single dog in the world.
Any dog can develop allergies in any time during his or her life, but allergic reactions seem to be especially common in terrier, setters, retrievers, and flat-faced breeds such as a pug, bulldog, and Boston Terrier.
Oh, bulldogs are bad.
They are pretty bad. Now, what substances can dogs be allergic to? Now this is something for all of you to consider.
Your mom.
Tree, grass, and weed pollens.
Yep, a lot of grass issues. You can tell a lot by the dog's pads if it's got bumps or little tiny slices. And then if they lay down in the grass, you can see the bumps in their belly.
Mold spores, dust and house dust mites, dander, feathers. Here's an interesting one for you. And from grooming, this is probably going to be one that we'll have a couple of things to talk about on this one, but cigarette smoke. I couldn't tell you how many times dogs come in.
They smell like ashtrays.
Oh, and it's like before, if you've ever walked into a bar before the smoking ban happened, and you'd walk in and you could see the smoke at the come out the door, and you would just smell it. That's what they can smell like, especially once you get it wet. Oh my gosh, it's just...
It's horrendous.
Oh, it is.
I've been a smoker for a very long time. I quit though, but I never smoked inside the house. And when dogs came in and they smelled like a damn ashtray, oh my gosh, it made me so angry. Because then that smell gets on us.
Yeah.
Because that smell is transferred. I'd rather smell like wet dog than smell like an ashtray.
I would go that way. Now here's something that we had just talked about a second ago, but I'm going to say it, and that's food ingredients.
Yes.
Now we already know wheat, corn, soy, and gluten is actually on that list. But here's something that I didn't know, and I'm going to share it, and you probably know this, but I didn't. Beef, chicken, pork, corn, wheat, or soy.
Yep.
Now, again, here we go with that beef is in her diet. It could definitely be that she's now...
And chicken fat to render the food together.
And see, these are things that she may have just become sensitive to.
Yeah, because I said it earlier that beef is one of the most problems to any kind of allergy. And I'm pretty sure it's not just... It's more of cooked beef, not raw beef.
Well, yeah.
Raw diets are excellent for dogs. Expensive, but the best for dogs. But definitely, if you look at the dog foods, the cheapest brands or the cheapest...
just listen to any other episode of this podcast when we talk about dog food.
Well, the cheapest protein is beef and chicken and poultry. Pork you don't see very often as a food for a dog. So I really don't think you should give your dog a pork chop. Definitely don't give him its bone, but...
Yeah, they splinter off in their throat,
Yeah.
they could choke, there's so many things. Prescription drugs. Now, obviously...
That's a little self-explanatory to me.
Don't even have to say anything on that. Fleas and flea control products. Only a few flea bites can trigger intense itchiness for 2 or 3 weeks, even longer.
Yes, Katana was... That's when we found out Katana was allergic, is when she was starting to chew the heck out of her back end.
This is one thing that drives me nuts. I'm not a big fan of it, but perfumes. Now, obviously, it's pretty much talking about your perfumes, female perfumes and stuff like that.
Or the men's Axe cologne.
Yes.
Don't do it, guys.
Yeah, don't go and spray your dog. I do know that there's probably a lot of people out there that go, oh, my dog smells a little bad today, a little ripe. I'm going to go pull some spray and there you go.
There is dog spray that doesn't last as long as humans.
But I don't even like that stuff.
I don't care for it either, but... Okay, you know what? Fantastic way to keep your dog smelling good and yet not touching its skin with cologne? Get a bandana.
Yeah.
Spray the bandana. Put it around his neck with a rubber band, not tied in a knot because you don't want him hanging himself. But put a rubber band around it a few times so it stays put. But put some spray on there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Whatever perfume, even if it's human perfume, very little. And they smell good forever.
One of the things that just drove me nuts, and I couldn't keep my mouth... I guess I found out, as I've done episodes about going to grooming school, I found out that I didn't keep my mouth shut as much as I thought I did. But then again, I don't keep my mouth shut. But they would spray every dog that was leaving with cologne, with dog cologne. And I used to say, why are you doing this? Well, because the customers want it. I go, well, if you're doing a good job at the bath, then you don't need to spray them with dog cologne. I hate that. It's a cover-up.
It is. And then people could be allergic to the cologne too.
Yes.
The dog cologne. They could be allergic as well. Someone else, I'm not going to name names, but someone else said, well, I don't like these new shampoos. They don't leave the dog smelling pretty. And I had to explain to said person, when you wash a dog, they shouldn't smell like anything. If you can smell a perfume on that dog's nose is 100 times more powerful than ours. Can you imagine what they're smelling? They need to smell like nothing.
Yeah, they should smell like nothing. I could not stand that. And then we had somebody called in and complained about it and said that they were itchy, and not the dogs, but they were itching and sneezing a lot. No. When I was at school. When I was at school.
Okay.
And
I was like, wait a second. I don't get confused.
They were no. back to when I was at school, and the dog was also having issues. Now I worked on one of the dogs, and the other student worked on the other dog. Both dogs had a problem, and and she goes, "Well, what happened? What did you do?" And I go, "Well, for one, if both dogs, and I only worked with one, if both dogs are having a problem, what's the key component that both dogs would have had a problem with?"
Shampoos.
Either the shampoo or both were allergic to the actual perfume.
Well, yeah, because it's not just one squirt. I mean, they doused
They did.
dogs.
I mean, I would do it, and that would be it. I would actually see.
See, I cover the dog's face.
Oh, I hate that
And
stuff.
I spray it up in there and let it fall.
I will do it on a bandana, but that's as far as I'll go. I am so against it, and that's me. That's me, and look, you don't have to agree with my method. None of you who listen have to agree, but that's just my takeaway.
We've only seen it happen millions of times.
Only a million times, and I remember telling the instructor, I go, maybe it's your product.
No groomer likes to hear that.
Oh well, no, well, in the arrogance in that room, no. But I was like, well, how, why is the student coming up with the answer to this?
If you buy cheap,
I really
shampoos.
don't keep my mouth shut as much as I really like to.
Cheap shampoos and cheap perfumes can cause a lot of skin problems. Like, if I go to
I'm getting to more.
If I go to the store and I buy that what's it called, body fantasy lotion stuff,
I have no idea.
I break out. I mean, that lotion, the perfume.
Look at I put some stuff on my hands because my hands are dry because of washing dogs, and I had a terrible rash last night, and it burned.
And it hurt.
Oh, it was awful. And so humans have it. All right, getting to the final end of this, but the last 4 is cleaning products. So.
Okay. Yes. The stuff from Swiffer. If your dog's itching, and if it starts mainly after you just get done using the Swiffer wet jet or whatever, it might be that, because dogs can and have been known to be allergic to those cleaning products as well.
The other one is fabrics, certain fabrics. They're up on your bed, a lot of dogs.
And your detergent.
Yes.
We changed our detergent as well, and I think that's causing ketonic problems too.
And the last one was rubber and plastic materials.
That I did not know.
Yeah. So these are things to actually consider with the allergies. There's definitely a million things you can Google on this. These are the things that I really wanted to actually mention. Obviously, we're always kind of, having a dog that has so many special needs. We have to worry about this. Here we have the Pit, who has absolutely nothing, and the Chihuahua, who has no allergies, can pretty much do anything it wants to.
Cats are the same way.
Cats are the exact same way, but
our special dog is our Akita.
Yeah, it is. So, keep it in mind. I mean, if your dog is, exhibiting any of these symptoms, you probably have that issue. And, like I said, I went into the vet. I talked to the vet, and I'm right off the bat. I said, look, I'm not here to think that I know it all. I'm spitballing because, with as much as you and I learn and we try to share, we don't know everything, but we learn from our life experiences, and then we put it in here and we share it with the world.
Right, and what's great is the veterinarian that we go and see, they also have faith in us too. They've sent a lot of customers our way as well.
It's probably because those two do a podcast, so of course that's the only reason why. Idiot comment of the decade. Shall we just end on that note?
Yes.
Well, by that sound, I can hear the audience clapping, so that must mean our time here has ended. I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week.
I'm Sarah Green. Make sure life is short. Play with your pets.
Claire?
I'm Clay Green. Maybe short.
Huh? What?
She's like, it's not so easy when it's a one take, is it?
Yeah.
So what is it? What are you going to say to everybody?
Play with your cats and pet your kittens and pet taxic with your dogs.
And we want to say we are so proud of you, Claire, for your perfect attendance, being rewarded, and you'll be on that fire truck next week. And of course, we will share all that stuff on our Facebook page because we are very proud of you and we love you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.
Was without doubt worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.
All right, good show, everybody. That's a wrap.